I'm curious to know if you've had any experience where, I'm sure you have, where people send you messages or emails like commenting on the stuff you say in your episodes and how it changed their thought process or something like that, right?
Yeah, I do quite a lot.
Mm.
So I'm on YouTube and I've got the podcast and social media and stuff, just Twitter really. And yeah, I get a lot of comments and feedback and, a variety of different things. A lot of stuff, it's just like 2-line emails, no subject. I need to learn English. Please help me. I'm like, okay. And then, some very thoughtful emails and things that I've received. Yeah. I mean, lots of stuff. I just think, not that long ago, I made an episode about an email that I received, which is an extraordinary story about a guy in Spain who had to go and have an operation, right? So the story is he needed an operation for a sleep apnea, which is basically an operation on the mouth. Routine operation, but it does require a general anesthetic. Okay. So he had the general anesthetic, he came out of it, and he sort of didn't come out of the anesthetic very well, which is a thing that can happen with general anesthetics. You can go into this weird thing where you kind of, I don't know how to describe it really, but he was delirious and he was super paranoid and he was hallucinating. He was convinced that he was going to die, and he was convinced that his girlfriend and all the doctors and nurses were lying to him, that he was convinced something had gone wrong, and it got worse and worse and worse, and it just became this waking nightmare that he was living in as a result of some reaction to the anesthetic. And he couldn't sleep, and it was getting worse and worse. And at one point, his girlfriend said, "Why don't you listen to that podcast that you like? It might help you." And he was like, "Oh, okay." So she started playing it to him, and it was an episode of my podcast, and the sound of my voice and just the reassuring sort of feeling that I managed to broadcast to him suddenly turned everything all right. And the kind of the paranoia, the anxiety, the delusions, it all went all nice. And he started seeing beautiful, colorful, joyful visions of his children and all this sort of stuff. He wrote all this to me in an email. He's sort of saying, thanks. So that's an extreme example, but I have had similar emails from people saying, like during lockdown and stuff, and thanks for your podcast. It's, kept me sane. And obviously emails from people saying that it's helped them with their English a lot. Mm-hmm. And it's helped them to, pass certain exams, get promotions at work and stuff. And, and a lot, I've been doing it for a long time. It'll be 14 years in a few weeks, really. So some people have been with me for ages, and I really get a sense of the long-term impact it's had for some people. Whereas as a teacher in classrooms, you might have had a similar experience where you get rolling, enrollments where people come and study with you for about 4 weeks or something, maybe an academic year, but you don't usually spend much more than like just a few weeks with each student. You do your best to help them learn English in that time, and then off they go, bye. You don't really get a sense of like the long-term impact that what you're doing has on them. But with the podcast, I've definitely had a lot more of that feeling. People are writing saying that when I started listening to you, I couldn't understand what you were saying. And then I kept listening, and, as if by magic, now I understand 90%, and I'm actually a lot more confident, and words come to me and all this sort of thing. And I just think, wow, that's amazing.